Got my own time together that means something to me. Got my own set of heroes that means something to me. Got my own way of praying, my very own way to sing. Still I'm connected to you and everyone and everything. Got my own list of questions, got my own voice to lead. Got my own handmade gifts that I'm longing to give. Got my own star to follow, my own river to cross, in my own time.
I know it's been a really long time. So much has changed in my life. I went back to school. I took a teaching job. And I know it's been a really long time, but I'm really struggling with something here. And when I dig down deep and try to think about who would care about this as much as I do, I think of you. Because I know you always saw me. You saw me as a teacher and as a leader, someone who loves and cares for people excelling in their life. But now I'm doubting everything. I don't know what I'm doing here. I took this job because I wanted to make a difference, so it makes sense. Teach kids, right? Go to the youth, help them in any way that I can. I thought I was really committed to them knowing their potential, and now I think I made a huge mistake. Who am I? What do I know? She got right in my face. Who do you think you are? She scares the shit out of me. She's 25 years younger than I am, and she scares me. She's one of my students, and I care. I really do, but sometimes I don't give a shit about her or any of them. I just want to do my job, you know? Where's the respect for me, for her classmates, for herself? Oh, I almost lost it in class the other day. I saw my mind and my body and my whole voice erupt, and I got lost in this fantasy. Who do you think you are? You're not the only victim here. I have a past in a neighborhood war, and I was always in charge. I was the leader of those fights, and we went at it. We kicked each other's asses. Boys, girls, all of us protecting our turf. We got black eyes and knocked each other's teeth out. This shit doesn't just happen in the city, you know. Everywhere I looked was green, and no one was there for me. No one. So just sit down and shut up and let me do my job. That's what I want to say to her. But I can't say that. She's a child. And I'm supposed to be her teacher. But today, she came in late after the bell, after I'd just gotten everyone settled. I say, "Where's your pass?" She slumps down into her seat, wads the pass up in a ball, and whips it at me and just stares. And I'm thinking to myself, just ignore her. Ignore her. I've just got to make sure I get through this review for this test tomorrow. And I'm trying to figure out what she needs. What do you need? She just looked at me with her arms crossed over her chest, chews her gum, and rolls her eyes. And at that moment, I saw myself at her age. Oh my God, I am her. Everything stopped. And I see her. And I see myself, and there's very little distance between us. I feel my whole body soften. And I'm in awe of her courage and power and strength and her goodness and kindness. It's all I can see, and I can't take my eyes off her. And I get that she's embarrassed and she mumbles whatever, she looks away. But I am glued to her. And when she looks back, our eyes meet, and she slowly lets all of her armor fall away, and she lets me in. And we sort of fade into one another. And neither of us can tell who's the teacher or who's the student. We just know we need each other. You are amazing. I want you to know this. You can move mountains. And I want you to know this more than I want you to know anything else. And I realize I have to keep seeing her this way. This is my job. Every day, every single day, I have to look past the thorns and see the real Rose. But I can't do it alone. I need help.
I've called this meeting because of the fight that took place in the upstairs hallway during the class break this morning at 10:15. As some of you already know, the fight involved Rose and Heather. We don't know why the fight began or indeed who began it. We do know Rose threw a trash can at Heather, but Rose said she didn't begin it, Heather did. And not surprisingly, Heather says she didn't begin it, Rose did. So we're at an impasse. The motivation for this fight will probably remain unknown, which means we can't discuss its causes. But we can and we must discuss its consequences. We need to do two things. First, we need to refer Rose and Heather to our child study team. Our school's code of conduct requires a 5-day suspension for any participant in a fight, so Rose and Heather will be suspended. But the child study team needs to consider how to support these two students while they're suspended and after they return to school. Counseling, academic or psychological testing, mediation, anger management training, other community support, all of these should be considered. Now, the parents of Rose or of Heather may be upset, they may feel their daughter's been treated unjustly, and they may wish to file a complaint with all the attendant publicity. If a parent calls any of you and seems to be angry, upset, please refer the call to me. I'll explain the situation and how the code of conduct applies. And immediately, of course, we need to get study plans to Rose and to Heather. The second thing we need to do is start thinking about how to go beyond our current procedures to prevent other fights from happening. You've all read the handouts on violence prevention? Good. My view is this. Our school must be a safe place for students. We can't control what happens at home. We can't control the risks students face on the street. But a student should be able to count on feeling safe in our school. This kind of violence, therefore, is absolutely unacceptable. If any of you have suggestions about how to make this school a safer place, I'd welcome them. As you know, my office is always open. Are there any questions? Fine. Meeting adjourned. Rose, how can I help you?
I don't mean to take any of the attention away from you, because I do feel bad about it, but I've been depressed for 3 years, and has anyone noticed? No. Sometimes I wish that someone would pay a little attention to me. This story is about me. I don't trust people, and that's where I went wrong with him. I wanted to believe that he wouldn't hurt me, and I wanted to believe that he cared. But who am I kidding? We're only in high school. No one actually cares about each other, do we? Honestly, I never cared about him. After 4 years at this hellhole of a school, he'd be gone and out of my life, so none of this would matter. But that night, he made me care, and just like everything he does, he forced it upon me. Although I'm sure he hasn't thought twice about what he's done to me, he has been controlling my every thought and action. It's become something that I can't help but happen. He makes me wonder, am I really good enough, or will I just always be a victim, someone for him to take advantage of? It's hard for me to remember now when Daddy's shoulders were the highest place on earth, or when my mom was my hero. My worst enemy was my brother. In race issues, there was only about who could run the fastest. War was only a card game, and the only drug I knew was cough medicine. Thanks to him, I realized that lollipops turn to cigarettes, the innocent ones turn to sluts, detention becomes suspension, and kisses turn to sex. Thanks to him, I can barely remember now when getting high meant swinging on the playset, or in protection meant wearing a helmet. He forced me to grow when I wasn't ready. So, what now? I want to thank him. Thank you for taking my childhood away from me. Thank you for helping me realize what the real world is like. But oh yeah, this isn't about me, is it?
I see this all the time. Living in this neighborhood, all kinds of scummy people move in and out of these projects. That's why the neighborhood's crime-ridden and unsafe. They all seem to come from the city. So when the mom and the troublemaker Brad move in next door, I just shake my head and I stay clear of them. Anyone can see this girl's mom is on drugs. She's a mess. She's in poor health. Looks like she dresses herself in the dark. Once I even had to let the Brad in my place because she got locked out. Then when the mom finally comes, I just gave her a look. Then I made sure the kid didn't steal anything. I mean, people like this don't change. They just get worser and worser. Then I started to notice different kind of people coming in and out of the place. You know, do-gooders. The kind that can't seem to accept people for the miserable folks they really are. Caseworkers, social workers, you know the type. I just shake my head and I have to laugh. I mean, people like this don't change. Like a few weeks later, I see the mom finally leaving the house. Okay, she looks a little healthier, a little stronger. Looks at me and smiles. But anyway, off she goes. When she comes back, she's got her groceries, looking like she's trying to get her act together. But I know better. This might look like a change, but people like that do not change. It's just a matter of time before she goes sliding back into her old ways. But then in the winter, you know, I fall in this bad patch of ice. The kid Rose sees me on the ground, and I thought for sure she was going to rob me. But instead, she picks me up. She asks if I'm okay. Of course I'm okay, I yelled. And then I tried to make it on my own, but I couldn't. And luckily, this girl is pretty strong because I couldn't make it up the few steps into my building, let alone all the way up the stairs into my apartment. So she looks at me and says, "Come on," leads me into their apartment. And the mom welcomes me. But, you know, I don't let my guard down because I could still get robbed, right? But they tell me about their experience coming here. They say how nice people are here. I find out how hard their lives were before getting here. I never knew people on dialysis looked like they're kind of on drugs. It turns out they're not such bad neighbors after all. I mean, to this day, they still check up on me, ask if I need anything. And I got in the habit of checking up on them. I guess people can change.
This is for you. This space where it's quiet and safe. Now it's your turn to tell your story. Tell me, why are you getting into fights? What's behind that thick armor of yours and that label, bad kid? When I was her age, I saw a girl going through what she's going through. I heard the bullying and the taunting, and I saw these nasty pictures that my friends were drawing. Now, my friends, they were a really scary bunch, and I was grateful to be a part of their clique. I didn't dare do anything that might put me in their line of fire. So I didn't do anything for that girl. And I'm here today with Rose, hoping to make it up. This is for you, this space, where it's quiet, and I'm waiting to hear your story. I got through high school. I got through college and graduate school, the first in my family. And none of them understand why I worked so hard, went through so many hurdles and barriers so I could work with kids like this. It's been a long fight. So how come you have to fight just to get through one day? This is for you, this space. Here, it's quiet, and I'm waiting. But you've got to say something. If she doesn't start to talk soon, I'm going back to the pile of papers on my desk. There's forms, regulations, memos, protocols, priorities, and policies. Does she know what it takes to get her into this service? Maybe I should find somebody who's really ready to work. This is for you, this space, the quiet and the waiting. Don't just mumble some yes-no answer, talk to me. And my family, they talk to me every day. They're all chattering back and forth. Hey, honey, look at this. Mommy, look what I did. And I can barely hear them because of this chilly silence in my head. My kids have got it made. I know how to fight for them, but her mom, she doesn't know how to work the system, not yet. This is for you, this space, the quiet and the waiting. I know, I'm a crazy white lady. How could I understand? But I can listen, and I can tell you what I'm hearing past that armor, and that's going to make a world of difference. This is for you. This space, the quiet, and the waiting. So take it, Rose. Take it, child, and get anything you can from it. This is for you.
Anything is possible. You know how they say that? Anything is possible? I believe that. I'm living proof that anything is possible. You look at me now, and you would never believe that I'm the same cricket from the city. Or that my baby Rose don't fight no more in school. You wouldn't believe it. And you know why? Because you doubted me. You judged me all the time. You said, how could a woman who do drugs take care of her kids and be successful? How could a wild child like my daughter become tame after being surrounded by the filth you thought was me and my household? But that's why she called Rose, because she grew out of the dirt, the bad times we had. And yeah, the bad times was the worst of the worst. But she grew out of that and grew into a beautiful flower. And my Rose found her tranquility-ness. She's the sweetest person in the world. She just have a rough time showing it sometimes, which I understand. She lived a hard life. She been through things at 16 that grown people ain't been through. And most of it is because of my lifestyle. I'm not proud of it. There are things I did that I never wish my daughter had to see or hear. Things I never meant to share with her. But that's why I had to leave. I had to leave the city and leave those bad people and bad elements and bad environment and come up here where the people is nice. The people want to help you. The weather's a little colder, and the snow is crazy. But it's worth it. It was definitely worth it to come here. You don't know how much I changed. You knew me back then when I allowed drugs to control my life, but even then, I was a good parent. My child always had food, always had her hair done. She wasn't going to be no crack baby. That's not what she is, and that's not what I am. You know, some people may look at me and think that I'm still doing drugs because of my mannerisms or the way that I hold myself. But that's not drugs. That's a different sickness altogether. My kidneys don't work as they should, so I have to take dialysis. Yeah, I went from depending on drugs to depending on my dialysis machine, but don't you feel bad for me? Don't you dare feel bad for me, because I like taking my dialysis up here. There's 8 of us who take dialysis down at the clinic, and we're like a family. I take my dialysis, I take care of my daughter, and I do what I have to do as a mother. I remember one time when Rose was locked out the house, so she had to stay with the neighbor till I got home. When I went over there to get her, that man looked at me like I was a bad mother. And that hurted me because he judged me before he knew the story. He thought I was being, careless with my daughter. But that's not true. I was down at the unemployment office trying to find a job so I could raise money to buy a special book that Rose needed for class. But of course, they was making me go through all kind of things just to apply. That's why I was late coming home. Not because I was doing no drugs or nothing like that. You know, the drugs made me feel good for a period of time, but when I saw what it was doing to my family, I had to stop. The kids at school would tease Rose about me, and the people in the neighborhood, like you, would talk about me. But you could talk now all you want, because I am far from the person I was back then. Talk about how I don't do drugs no more. Talk about how my baby Rose used her words more than her fists. Talk about how my daughter forgive me for the mistakes I made in my past, because that was the past. Now if you want to talk about me, you got to talk about somebody who made it, turn her life around. Talk about a cricket who learned how to chirp despite the fact that only male crickets supposed to chirp. All right now, I broke the odds. I beat the statistics. I took control of my life for the good of myself and my daughter. So now if you look at me and you only see the old cricket from the city, then you don't know the new me. And I feel bad for you.
She says that she was a good mother. Now she was always there. Don't get me wrong, she was a good mother, but she wasn't the mommy I wanted. I always felt alone. I refused to hang my head low as I walked through the streets, even though people would give me stares like I was the one strung out on drugs. I felt like I was carrying the weight of my mother's mistakes. People are always saying things about me like I'm a problem child. You know, that's what I'm labeled as when I go to school. You see, they don't know what I had to go through every single day of my life. Deep down inside, I wish I could change things, but I can't. I didn't ask for this to be my life. I was born into this mess. People lie on me a lot. And people are afraid of me. People probably think I like the fact that people are afraid of me, but I don't. Now, the power is great. I like the feeling that, you know, I'm in control of my life for a few hours. I can say what I want. I can do what I want. And nobody's going to tell me otherwise. Like the teachers. They always lie on me. They say that I start the fights. That's not true. Listen, if I hear that somebody's talking some mess about me, I'm going to go see what's up, because I'm not going to let anybody hurt me if I can help it. And then they be the kids that be egging me on saying, oh, hit her, oh, Rose, how you gonna let her say that about you? So what am I supposed to do? People gonna start thinking that I'm a punk. They be like, dang, your mother's a crackhead, you a punk, and a crack baby. So I have to fight to protect myself. And then my counselors, they be asking me, you know, if I have friends or somebody I could talk to, somebody I could trust. I tell her no. I'm tired of letting people get close to me, and then when I open up, they hurt me. No, I ain't having that. I saw 2 of my fights on this guy's phone. I couldn't even recognize myself. I couldn't even believe that was me doing what I saw on the screen. Like, I felt embarrassed. Another thing I can't stand is people pitying me. I don't need your pity. I can take care of myself. Like, especially the teachers, yo. Before they find out my mother's on dialysis, they treat me like crap. But then when they find out they want to be all nice to me, oh, no. Treat me like you treat the other kids in your class that give you hell. Like, people don't care. I hate that. People really don't care, especially the principals. They don't be doing their jobs. They full of Listen, they smile in your face and act like they gonna listen to you and take care of the situation. But nothing ever changes. And people are so mad judgmental. They always assume stuff, never willing to hear the whole story. But there was this one teacher, y'all, I would never forget her. She was my 10th grade teacher. Like, no matter what I did, she was always nice to me. Like, it was like she was trying to live my life through me. Like, when she would see me in the hallway, like, you know, in all of my mess, she would actually take me to the side and listen to my side of the story. Like, there was this one time she told me, she was like, you're amazing and you can move mountains. That was the nicest thing any teacher or anybody has ever said to me. Like, she really gave me hope. Like, she was my speck of light in all my darknesses. Like, there's this poem by this kid named Maddie T.J. Stepanek that reminds me of her. It goes like,
every day, everybody in the world should do at least one nice thing for others. Doing so can help each person believe in him or herself to do more new and good things and give confidence that each person would do more new and good things for the self, for others, and for the world. Well, that's all I can remember right now, but the poem is called Believing for the Journey. I really believe the words that he was saying, but there's not enough people in the world doing good things, in my opinion, and that's why things are the way they are. Like, Mr. Dempsey told me about this place called New Life that me and my mother could go if we wanted help. I got my aunt to convince my mother that we should go, and surprisingly, my mother said yes, and I was like, I'll believe it when I see it. But I mean, like, we actually went. Like, I mean, we left with absolutely nothing but the clothes on our backs. I went to this program called The Beacon that really, really helped me out with school and the personal problems that I had that was stirring up the anger that was inside of me. Like, at first, it was real difficult, like, going to school. Like, I was constantly fighting. And at The Beacon, we had these social workers that really helped me. Like, one of them became like my second mother. Like, at first, I didn't trust them. I was like, why are they, it sounded like they were so concerned about me and my mother's situation. Like, I was like, what does some white lady know about what I went through? But I mean, like, I can honestly say they really helped me. Like, I'm doing better. My mother stopped taking drugs, but now she's smoking like crazy. And like, I feel like my mother's nurse. Like, I'm the mother and she's the child. Listen, all we got is each other. I don't know what I'd do if I lost her. Like, all I have is my mother. Like, I even tried to see what life would be like if she would have died. I didn't like it. Like, nobody provides for me like my mother did. Like, I never knew what it felt like not to have food to eat or clothes to wear. Like, even though all that stuff was going on, like, I always had what I needed. And even though, like, she wasn't the mommy I wanted, she took care of me. And now I'm learning how to take care of myself. Like, I want people to know that I'm not as bad as people think I am. Like, even though I may be really loud and I could be intimidating, I'm a very caring person. Like, let me tell you, like, if I see somebody that's in need of help, I'm gonna go help them, just like any normal human being would do. I'm not just gonna leave them out there no matter how I'm feeling. Listen, I love myself just the way I am, and like, I wish I could take away the bullying part of me, but you know. I want people to know that I've been through worst points in my life. Well, actually, several worst points in my life, but I'm better. Like, and if it wasn't for all these people in my life who showed me that, you know, there is room for change, and that even though I was surrounded by all these problems in my life, like, I couldn't take care of it all by myself. And they really helped me. It really helped me by listening to me instead of pushing me to the side like I didn't matter, because I do matter. This is for me. This space, the quiet, the waiting. This is for me.
Got my own way of talking, got my own way to smile, got my own way of walking, my own look and style, got my own way of praying, my very own way to sing. Still I'm connected and everyone and everything. Got my own way of talking, got my own way to smile, got my own way of walking, my own look and style. Got my own way of praying, my very own way to sing. Still I'm connected to you and everyone and everything.